Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel where I talk about stuff. So for today's video, I'm actually going to be sharing some of my best tips for eating out, whether that's like at a restaurant and fast food, just anywhere where you don't really get to control what you're eating. I know a lot of you are actively trying to make healthier choices, just like I am, so I figured I'd share my tips, and then I know you guys are the best comment section of all time, and you always share your tips down below as well, and I just like creating an open forum for discussion on these topics. So yeah, that's what we're doing today. But before we jump into the topic, I wanted to give a very big thank you to this video sponsor, Green Chef. So for those of you who don't know, Green Chef is a USDA certified organic meal delivery company. Green Chef offers a wide variety of meal plans, including there's a lot. Paleo, vegan, vegetarian, pescatarian, Mediterranean, heart smart, lean and clean, keto, gluten-free, and omnivore. The service actually encouraged me to try to cook, and as you guys know, like, I do not cook. I am not good at cooking, but it's like one of the only things that has actually inspired me to cook because everything came out so good and it was so easy. With Green Chef, you get to enjoy clean ingredients that you can trust, which again, I know a lot of us kind of fall into the trap of eating too much processed food, me included. When Zach and I were making the Green Chef meals, they just offer healthier options that made me feel a lot better, especially with my digestive issues. Just eating more whole foods really did a lot for me, which I know you're probably like, duh. Recipes include pre-made and pre-measured sauces, ingredients, everything like that. It is basically as easy as it can get when it comes to cooking. Everything is already pre-portioned for you. You just have to cut the vegetables, throw it in the pan. It comes with a very detailed recipe and instruction page. Made it super easy for us to follow, and the meals were delicious. But yeah, if you are interested in giving Green Chef a go and, you know, trying to eat a little bit healthier, they have generously offered you guys $50 off your first box. All you have to do is go to www.greenchef.us/JordanShrinks. $50 off your first box. Yum food. Thank you, Green Chef, for sponsoring this video. Now on to more discussion about food. Before we begin, I just wanted to say, like, this isn't really advice for someone who eats out every once in a while. I strongly believe that if you're not eating out often, when you do eat out, you should like treat yourself, you know, eat something that you wouldn't, not really worry about calories. Just kind of enjoy the presence of the people you're with, enjoy the food. However, I do know that a lot of us eat out more regularly, you know, not once every few weeks, every few months. I know I ate out a lot in school because there was like food on campus. Even now with like Uber Eats and everything, like I find that I eat out much more than once or twice a month. So yeah, these tips are mainly for people who maybe have like a weekly lunch with the girls, with mimosas, or buy lunch at school, or buy dinner on the way home, those type of people. So my first tip to eat healthier at restaurants or in fast food or whatever is to try and balance your meal. So what I mean by this, usually if I go to a fast food restaurant or I go to a restaurant that has multiple dishes in like one dish, so you know, a main, a side, what I'll try to do is I'll try to balance it as much as possible by choosing one thing to eat like an asshole for, and then going with the healthier options for the other two. So you know, meals usually come in like threes. There's like the main, the two sides, whatever. So let's say you go to a burger restaurant, and what you want to do, if you're anything like me, is get the burger, the fries, and the shake. While you could do that, you know, power to you. I don't like doing that too often because it's just not healthy, and also I'm gonna feel like shit later. So I will try to only choose one unhealthy options and try to replace the other two with healthier options, or just not order them at all. So for example, if I get a burger, instead of fries, I'll get like a side salad. Although make sure if you get a side salad, you check the dressing, because a lot of the time the dressing is more calorically dense than the fries. Or let's say like I want the fries, and maybe I'll skip the burger and get the healthier wrap. It's just more about like balancing it so you're not getting everything bad, and that also kind of teaches you that you can still enjoy your food and treat yourself without overdoing it. Because if you're anything like me, I fall into that mentality really quickly, that really bad mentality of like, if I'm gonna eat one thing bad, I might as well eat it all. I try to isolate like the one bad thing and just try to replace the other not so healthy snacks with more healthy snacks. So that brings us to tip number two. Tip number two, which is swapping and substitution. So let's say you want the burger and the fries, like me. You can't make up your mind. You're like, I want the burger, but I also want the fries. I don't want a fucking side salad. This is when the swapping comes in. Swap queen. Swap queen, substitution master, swap queen. So just to give an example, I really like this restaurant that's local to where my parents live. It's called Boom Burger. It's basically like a healthier vegan burger spot, which, side note, that's another tip. If you can find restaurants that offer the same things you like, but in a healthier way, that already is putting you ahead of the game. You're already eating healthier. But yeah, back to Swap Queen. So I really like the burger, obviously, but I also really like the fries. So what I'll usually actually do is kind of swap things out and make it its own weird its own weird mishmash of food. So like I said, if I only ate at Boon Burger every once in a while, I would just get the burger and the fries. However, when I'm home, I like it a lot and I usually end up eating it like quite a lot. So what I'll do is I will order the burger and all of the toppings, but I will actually order it on lettuce to make it like a salad. And then I will also order my fries because I wanted both. And then I will mix the fries into the burger salad. And all of a sudden it is a French fry salad. And listen, I don't know if you've ever had a French fry salad, but it's fucking life-changing. And honestly, since the burger still has all the toppings it would have had I got it on bread and all the sauces and everything like that, you can't really notice the absence of the bread. And really, in the overall grand scheme of things, bread isn't that calorically dense. But like I said, just if you're eating it out often, you want to save like 200 to 300 calories here and there, it works great for me. Or on the other hand, if I'm still trying to save calories, maybe I'll just actually get the burger and just skip the fries. But usually I want both, so I'll like combine them. But going on the point that you usually don't even notice the absence of something because all the sauces and everything are the same, a great example I have of this was actually when I stopped eating dairy. So when I stopped eating dairy, I obviously stopped eating cheese, and I was very surprised the first time I got Subway after I stopped eating dairy because I got the exact same sub, same bread, same toppings, same sauces. The only difference is I didn't have cheese. But when I ate it, I was shocked to find out that I didn't even notice that the cheese was gone. And that's because when you have so many toppings on something, like you don't really isolate different tastes, if that makes sense, especially if the sauce is super flavorful, like mustard. I fucking love mustard. I swear, you put mustard on anything, you will not notice the absence of anything else. So that's definitely a tip I have. If you are looking to save a few calories or you're looking to eat something a little bit healthier, maybe try swapping things out and seeing if you can even really taste a difference, because a lot of the time you can't. And it's really life-changing because you're like, wow, I was allocating so many calories to this specific food when I didn't even notice it. But speaking of mustard and sauces and everything like that, that brings us to tip number three, which is always ask for sauce on the side. Sauce on the side, sauce on the side, sauce on the side. This changed my life, okay? It changed my, not to be dramatic, but it changed my life. Sauce can literally make or break how healthy your meal is. There are some sauces like mustard that are super low in calories, and then there are other sauces that can literally add hundreds of calories to your meal without you even noticing. So usually when I go out and I get some type of bowl, like where you get to choose all the different, you know, ingredients, or I get some type of salad, I'll always ask for the sauce on the side just so I can control how much goes on, because like I said, if the sauce is really flavorful, you can actually get away with a lot less than they put on. Or if I go get something like a pita or like a sub, something like that, where I don't feel like, you know, it's necessary for me to ask for it on the side, I will always ask for light sauce. I'll say just a little bit, because I don't know if you've ever gotten a sub or a pita, but usually the person takes the bottle and they're just like, they literally drown your food in sauce. So I would just ask for a little bit just to, you know, save on those calories. And honestly, I've always been someone who doesn't like a lot of sauce. I know there are people out there who like to drown their shit in salad dressing, sauce. That just has never been me. So maybe that, you know, is easier said than done for a lot of you, but I like to just go light on the sauce. I do the same thing at Chipotle when I go get a burrito bowl. That's another thing for substitution, getting the bowl instead of the wrap, because the wrap at Chipotle is 320 calories. Listen, not all of us have 320 calories to spend on a wrap. But yeah, I'll get the bowl and I'll actually ask for the guac on the side, because guacamole is like the epitome, the perfect example of something that can bring your meal from like relatively low calorie to super high calorie. Some people, when you go to Chipotle, give you the actual, you know, amount of serving size for guacamole, but others take that little spatula thing and give you like 2 to 3 servings, and doubling your serving of guacamole is one of those things that's gonna add like 300 calories to your meal. I know that being kind of like nitpicky when it comes to food can be really anxiety inducing for a lot of people. Honestly, the person working probably does not give a shit, and if they do give a shit, they're not gonna care tomorrow. They're not even gonna remember your order tomorrow. So, you know, just ask for what you want. There's nothing wrong with asking for modifications to your meals. So my fourth tip is to look how the food is prepared. So the way food is prepared greatly impacts how many calories the food actually has. What I usually look out for when I'm eating out is whether or not the food is grilled or fried. I avoid fried foods most of the time because I have trouble digesting them. I'm much more of like a grilled bitch. If I'm getting tofu, I always ask for it to be grilled instead of fried. Sometimes the menu doesn't specify, but there are kind of key words you can look at to guess how it is prepared. If it says it's crunchy, crispy, anything like that, it's usually because it's deep fried. And there's nothing wrong with asking if they can prepare it in another way. A lot of the time they can't, especially in like fast food, but a lot of like sit-down restaurants, they can prepare in a lot of different ways. But yeah, how it's prepared greatly affects the caloric output of it. Basically anything with a lot of oil has a lot of fat, which means it has a lot of calories. So tip 5 is to take half home. So I'm sure a lot of you have heard this tip before, like don't eat the whole thing, just bring half home, make 2 meals out of 1. I'm sure a lot of you also know that that is easier said than done. I'm the type of person who will go to a restaurant telling myself I'm only gonna eat half and bring half home. Does that ever happen? No, because what I do is I pick at my food and I pick at it so much that eventually it's just all gone. So one of my best tips is actually to ask for the takeout container before you start even eating, because if you split your meal down the middle and put half of it in the takeout container before you even eat the other half on the plate, you are much less likely to, you know, go back into that takeout container and eat it, because that's just shameful. Can you imagine you're like, oh, I'm saving half for later because I'm so fit, and then you like break into it and you're like eating it like a fucking gremlin in front of your friend? Honestly, I've done it. So alright guys, so my sixth and final tip is that sharing is caring. Basically what I mean by this is it is 100% doable. It is 100% okay to ask a friend, a partner, anyone if they want to share your meals when you go out to eat. Most of the time people don't want to like share their one meal. Like if you're only getting an entree, people are going to be like, what the fuck? No, we're not sharing. But if you're like, hey, do you want to split a nap in a meal? Most people will say yes. And then that just kind of helps control what you're eating, because otherwise if you don't split, you might be like me and say, oh, no one wants to split with me. I guess I'll just get my own app and my own meal. But yeah, if you go to eat with someone, especially if that person knows you're trying to make healthier choices, usually they'll be down for it. But if not, you can implement some of the tips I shared in this video to hopefully help you make healthier choices. Like I said at the beginning, if you're only going out every once in a while, please don't stress about it. It is 100% okay to treat yourself. It's not gonna, you know, make you unhealthy overnight. It's not gonna make you put on a bunch of weight overnight. Sometimes you just have to eat good food and be okay with it. But like I said, if you're eating out constantly, every day, every week, it is a good idea to kind of implement these healthier, you know, tips and tricks to make sure you're not doing your body bad. But yeah guys, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that these tips were helpful, and like I said, if you have any more, please leave them down below. Thank you again to Green Chef for sponsoring this video, and yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!